Former chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Fox News contributor Jason Chaffetz, Fox News contributor, investigative reporter Sara Carter, Fox News legal analyst Gregg Jarrett. All right, Sara, let's go. You have broken some of this news tonight. You heard at the beginning that the DOJ, as we speak, are recovering the missing 5 months. That is huge tonight.
It's huge news, and it fits with what other FBI agents were telling me, former and current, where they said, look, they can get these text messages. There is no way there was a technical glitch that got rid of all these text messages. Look, the FBI are experts at going after criminals who try to hide their text messages, and they're able to get them from them. So if they have the phones, they can get it from that. And if they're in the server, they can get it from that. Now the question is, why did they respond that way? Why did they respond with this technical glitch? And I have some new news, Sean. I have been told by members in Congress that they will release that memo, that they will not be cowing down. They're
not going to be bullied.
They're not going to be bullied by the DOJ. They want this memo out to the public, and they will go to a vote on this.
Okay, Gregg Jarrett, let's talk about, first of all, this is big news about the release of this. But we take it even a step further. I mean, you see more texts from Lisa Page and Peter Strzok. What are your thoughts?
50,000 texts. If you extrapolate that, that's 68 texts a day. Did these two cheating lovebirds, who are still married to other people at the time, have any opportunity to actually do their jobs at the FBI? It appears abundantly clear that they harbored an anti-Trump animus and a unabashed adoration for Hillary Clinton, that it influenced their decisions, and they were involved in clearing Hillary Clinton and launching an investigation against a political candidate, Donald Trump, and then using a false document to spy on him, which is an abuse of power. It's a felony crime, 10 years punishable behind bars. And now you've got the DOJ trying to cover up the 4-page intel memo. As Nixon once famously said, it's not the crime, it's the cover-up. Well, with these guys, it's both crimes and cover-up.
Let's go to this new development. Sara, you caught this, and it was in your article tonight on SaraCarter.com. But Jason Chaffetz, the idea that, well, if the investigation leads to impeachment, there's no there. I hate the president. He, F him. But if I can get rid of him, and this will make history, well, maybe I should get involved. What do you think, sweetheart? Pretty much what he's saying to his lover.
Look, Sean, I think you gave the best synopsis of what's happening here. The only thing I would actually add to it is there's a National Review article up now talking about the nexus to the President Barack Obama himself when he's communicating under an alias using an account that wasn't a .gov account to a Hillary Clinton who may have been overseas, perhaps in Russia, again on a non-secure line. Then I got to tell you, what was the motive to make sure that Hillary Clinton was never prosecuted? You got to also explore that, and that's not a wild conspiracy theory.
Congressman, in all your years in Congress, do you ever have an exoneration before investigation?
No.
Let's start there.
No. I mean, come on. There was something like 16 people that had not yet been interviewed.
17. And Hillary.
It's just unbelievable. If a judge had started writing his opinion before they heard all the testimony on this, come on. And it's John Ratcliffe under oath asking Director Comey, when did you make this decision? That's where Comey's strongest legal trouble starts.
All right, Sara, let me go back to you, because you reported on this. No, there's no there on that Russia thing. But if this can be historic, if there's impeachment, he's loathsome. F him. That's what they wrote each other.
Well, think
maybe
about
then
this,
I should get involved. No, wait a minute. But you got Strzok and Comey writing the exoneration. Then you got the insurance policy with Page, Strzok, and McCabe. Why are these people still working? Why have they not been fired? And what impact does it? Why did Mueller pick all of these people? And I didn't even mention Andrew Weissman yet.
That's right. And that is one of the biggest questions right now from former FBI folks who say, look, had we even done a little a little speck of what these folks did, we would be fired, we would be removed. What's going on here? What's going on the 7th floor? We can't get any answers from the FBI. Why would the FBI put a guy who was having an affair? This is a counterintelligence. Peter Strzok was working counterintelligence. He's having an affair. He's texting on an unsecured line, his government-issued phone, open for anyone to capture it, and then they move him to human resources. They move him from out of the special counsel and then into human resources, and we can't get an answer as to why he hasn't been fired, why Lisa Page is still working. So there's a lot of questions here, and we have to look at Deputy Director Andrew McCabe and look at everything that's come out about Andrew Weissman on the special counsel. Sean, there is a continuing investigation. This is the reason why the DOJ doesn't want this FISA memo out. This is the reason why people are so tight-lipped about this. There needs to be further investigation into this, and I agree with Chaffetz on this.
I watched today, and it's not new news that they're going to want to talk to Donald Trump. It's not even, it's old news. Right. Oh, Steve Bannon is talking. That's old news, too. Didn't these leaks, don't you suspect, as I do, this came right from Robert Mueller's office, because they are under fire, and because of all that we're discovering here, they know their time is up.
It's not unusual for a special counsel to interview the subject of the investigation, Donald Trump. Trump can't hide behind executive privilege because that only applies to protecting your communications to Congress. This is a criminal investigation. The president could be hauled in front of a grand jury. So Trump has to respond and testify. The only question is, can he limit the scope of it, which is attorneys should try to do, because, you know, I was a defense attorney. I've yet to meet a prosecutor who cares a whit about justice and fairness. They care about convictions and indictments. They're one loss column. So this could be a perjury trap, an obstruction trap. The president needs to be careful about that, but he's a smart guy. And when he needs to be, I've read his depositions, he can be very focused and cogent.
Would you ever let the president, and I appreciate he wants to be upfront, honest, right. I would never in a million years, never, right. ever allow him to go before this witch hunt special counsel.
But he has no choice. You can't invoke executive privilege in a situation like this. It's a legitimate criminal investigation.
Don't you think there's enough legitimate reasons of a bias and an abuse right. within the special counsel that he has legitimate legal arguments?
Not only that, by meeting with Mueller, you are in a way legitimizing his investigation, which is illegitimate. Under the special counsel law, there has to be a stated crime. Look at the order signed by Rod Rosenstein to Mueller. There's no stated crime. It's an illegal investigation, but the president may have no choice.
Let's get your take on this, Jason Chaffetz. Congressman, I wouldn't in a million years. I would fight that up to the Supreme Court on the grounds that number one, Mueller's team is corrupt, that it was founded, remember, Hillary rigged the primary. Hillary paid for the phony dossier. Hillary got a pass when she committed felonies by people that even were involved in the investigation, especially Peter Strzok. And Peter Strzok and Comey. And Comey set it up using information he never should have revealed. Then the phony dossier was a predicate to get the FISA warrant against the president. I don't think there's, I believe anybody, liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat, civil libertarian, you've got to be concerned about the abuse of intelligence and the misuse of our intelligence and weaponizing it against the American people.
Look, I think I would do what you suggested and not do it. But I tell you what, Donald Trump is unlike anybody I've ever seen before, and I think he wants to get out there and do that. And if you look at what Donald Trump Jr. did, he released all his emails. He gave 23 hours of testimony about a 20-minute meeting. They do things different. One last thing I got to add, Sean, though. With Strzok and Page, why do these people have security clearances? If you don't have a security clearance, guess what? You don't work at the Department of Justice in their capacity. So how can they possibly have a security clearance, take away that security clearance, and get rid of them? They should be fired. They shouldn't be working and being paid by the American taxpayers right now.
All right. Sara Carter, we're going to give you the last word this segment.
Well, I can just tell you this. I spoke with a defense attorney who's very familiar with Andrew Weissman and Robert Mueller, and he said the president would have to be crazy to fall into their trap. This is what they do. This is what they've done in the past. They're going to try to find anything, and this is why they want to question him. So, Sean, I mean, I don't know the legalese here. Gregg is the expert, but that's what I was told.
All right, last word for you, Gregg Jarrett.
Yeah, I wish there was a way the president could try to avoid it. Bill Clinton tried his best not to talk to Ken Starr. He negotiated some limits on his taped interview, but in the end, he had to do it. There just is no legal basis. I mean, you can try to go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is going to knock you down. Politically, it's going to be ugly for the president. He's got to do the interview.
He's got to do the interview, but there's a precedent for restrictions. There's a precedent for what the topics are going to be.
The Bill Clinton case.
Proffer, all sorts of, okay, the lawyers, they get... In other words, it can't be open-ended, Gregg. It's impossible.
Right. Limit the scope of it.
Limit the scope.
You know, and by the way, from the president's point of view, it's quite simple. I didn't talk to any Russians. I didn't collude. In terms of obstruction of justice, I'm allowed to fire people in the executive branch.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it, as always. Gregg, Sara, Congressman, thank you all for joining us. Now, the